More than books at the library. I'm Lisa Oligas, and this is Newsmakers. In this edition, we learn about a new photographic display at the Joplin Public Library. We'll also talk with photographers about their process. We begin our conversation with Jill Halbach, Executive Director of the Post Art Library inside the Joplin Public Library. Welcome, Jill.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Your new display is called the Joplin Sampler.
Yes.
So from where did you curate this collection of photos, and was there a call for submissions? How did it work?
Well, it worked a little differently than when we do a regular call because we worked with a local group, the Four-State Photography Enthusiasts. Specifically, we worked with Steve Holmes, one of the members of the group, and he really helped us out by being the contact point for the rest of the photographers. So we coordinated the show with him, and then he was the contact and went between them and us to make it all come together.
So are these all local photographers then that we're going to be seeing?
They're all local or regional. Most of the people in the group, it's my understanding, participate locally, and then there are some people from afar as well.
So is there a theme to this exhibit?
The idea was just to have different perspectives of different people in the group, and the show's happening in Joplin. The group meets in Joplin, and so the idea of Joplin Sampler, it's a sampling of perspectives.
Okay. So you had an opening event. We attended that. Did that give people a chance to meet the artist as well as sort of seeing the work?
It did. People were able to meet the photographers who were there, and it's really great because there's such a range of abilities and talents within the group. And then there were people who were just interested, who were there, just happy to talk about photography, because I think when we have exhibits like this, photography has changed so much over time that it's always interesting, especially people who've been doing it for a long time, to see what has changed with their own personal photography over time.
For sure. I mean, so many different ways to take a photo these days.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody's a photographer, but then there's still the old school way.
Right.
So how can this help maybe people develop their skills as a photographer by maybe talking with those others?
I think that talking, always, I think it's good to learn hands-on from people who do. And I think in this case too, you could just go see the exhibit and you could learn a lot because it's all different. There's a lot of nature in the exhibit and a lot of objects, but the perspectives are completely different. And so I think that might help a photographer or someone who's new maybe learn a different way of looking at things.
Yeah. How do displays like this impact the community when it comes to maybe exposure to different views of, you know, what we might all be looking at any given day in town?
Well, typically our displays in the library are pretty well received. This one hasn't even been up. I mean, it just opened on Thursday, so not even a week ago. And already people have been making a lot of positive comments about how nice it is to come in and see photography. And so I just think that it helps us to maintain a positive atmosphere.
Yeah. Why is it important that the library includes something different like this, that it's not just books?
I think it's important because people have very varied interest, and since it's not about books, just books, it's really good to give people access to those interests and those ideas and to things that are different in culture. And many people come to the library and that is their only access point to those things.
You know, and then you could also actually check out some books on photography
You could.
if you decide you have an interest in it.
Sure.
Let's talk about the club, the Four-State Photography Enthusiast. So how long has that club been around?
You know, they've been around for quite a while. I don't know the exact number, but
So
it's my understanding.
Next segment, we'll talk to those
Yes.
folks about it. Yeah. Is it a big club?
Yeah, it seems like there's a fair amount of people in the club. I know in this exhibit alone, and not everyone in the group participated, we have at least 20 different photographers represented.
So more questions about the club we should save for our photographers
Yes,
coming next.
that's
Okay.
a good idea.
So does the maker space also include elements of photography or ways you can maybe view it on computers?
It does. So in the makerspace, you could always come in and use various Adobe products like Photoshop and Lightroom and pick up those skills to enhance the skills you have or to completely learn. You don't even need a library card and there's no fee. It's absolutely free. And then there are other things you could do if you say you've been a photographer for decades and you still have stuff on negatives or even slides. You could come in and you can convert those into digital formats.
That's exciting for somebody because
Yeah.
an old-time photographer. And then you also have that sort of lending library. Are cameras ever part of that?
Yes, there is a camera in the Library of Things. So you could always put yourself on hold for that. You can check it out. And it's not just for in-house use. You get to check it out and take it home with you. And so then you could always bring the photographs back to the library and then edit them and do what you would like in the makerspace.
And that's really helpful because so much of learning something like that is experimenting with it, taking it out,
Right.
taking photos. I mean, you want to be able to take it home. You can't just
Right.
look at it and figure it out. So.
Right.
All right, so years ago at the old location, there were big display windows at the library lobby that often housed collections. One year, my son even displayed his cereal box collection, another time his Pez collection. How can someone who has art or another kind of collection they'd like to share get a chance to exhibit?
Well, all they really need to do is go to postartlibrary.org and then scroll down a little, and there are two buttons. One says exhibit your work, and the other says display your collection. You would click on whichever one of those is appropriate and just fill out the application. It's really simple. It's mostly just contact information and a photo or two of what you have.
So this exhibit was something you guys wanted to bring in. Are there other exhibits that are coming soon to the library?
Yes, we do have other exhibits that are upcoming. Later this year, we'll do an exhibit with the Joplin Regional Artists Coalition. And then in October, we should be doing a display of monster memorabilia. And we have a display of antique toy cars right now in the library. And then we have some other things in store for next year, but we're not quite ready to share them all yet.
Okay. I know one of the things that helps keep the library going is the Friends of the Joplin Public Library. Tell us about that group a little bit and how people can maybe support the library.
Well, it's a really great group. So anyone who's interested in supporting the library could do so with the Friends in numerous ways. Of course, you could always pay and become a member, and the rates are very reasonable. You can go to their website. You can also follow them on Facebook to learn about different events they're doing and support by attending one of those. Upcoming, they have SmackDown Showdown Trivia, which sounds very exciting. And then you could, in other ways, support just by volunteering, just by giving your time.
Well, the library is a great resource, and the exhibit is going on through when? Tell us about the hours that it's there and when people can see it.
It's available anytime the library's open, so 7 days a week you can see it, and it'll be there till October 23rd.
Excellent. So there's another event happening at the library. You have a writers' fair. Tell us about that.
We have the Joplin Writers Fair, and this is one of our favorite events to have. This is our 9th year to have it, and we always collaborate with Joplin Public Library. So it's always been a partnership between the two libraries, and for the last few years, we've been fortunate enough to have the support of the Friends group as well. So they're usually the people who will greet everyone at the door, and they always have a lovely booth with different things they have for sale to support the library. And then we typically have 30 or so authors, and each one has a booth, and it's all set up throughout the lobby and the gallery and the community room, and people can walk through and meet the authors, talk with them about their materials. Some of the authors are also artists or do other things, so they'll have a variety of things in their booth. And it's just a really great event if you love reading, or especially if you're interested in learning how to write or become published yourself.
It is funny how some people are self-publishing more nowadays. I know I went to that event once and I was surprised how many local people are authors.
Yeah.
And then are published authors. And it's a variety, children's books and nonfiction. So give us an idea of maybe some of the things you might find written by a local author. What kinds of books? Are they all age levels?
It is all over. We do have children's authors. A couple who come to mind is Billie Holiday Skelly. She writes, and often her work is geared toward children, but it's about history, so it's nonfiction. And then we have Izzy B.
Yes, he's been on our show.
Yes, and he has participated in the past, and his books are fiction, and they're fun, and they're funny, and he's really animated, and he always has a fun booth. And then we have other nonfiction authors who will write about history, such as Larry Wood. We also have investigative writing. I mean, it's really all over the place. We also have people who have written books about psychology, so we have that type of nonfiction too. It's not always related to history. We've had paranormal authors, poets. We've had people who haven't had a published work yet have booths, who are just excited to talk about their writing, who literally just have some samples of it at the table to talk with people.
In today's world, when it comes to books and getting published, what are the challenges, or are there things that make it easier since we have so much with things online?
Well, I think that it's like anything else, it definitely has its challenges, especially for people who might not have great access to technology and things like that, who are interested in becoming published. But I think, too, especially with AI, that presents a whole other challenge to it, especially if you're on the publishing side of things. So I think it's just a matter of, getting yourself out there and just finding the right publishers. And it's important to keep in mind that you're probably, no matter who you are, going to see many rejections to that one acceptance. And that's standard for everyone.
Yeah, it's the nature of the business. Get a thick skin.
Right, exactly.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Jill.
Yeah.
When we return, we'll be joined by a photographer with work on display at the Joplin Sampler exhibit. As we go to break, we hear from other exhibitors about their work at the Joplin Public Library. Photography is a new interest for Brad Mace, who mingled with guests at the Joplin Sampler, where 2 of his photos are on display.
I'm a local artist, and I have a couple of photographs here of some aerial images. One of them's of Grand Falls with some kayakers in it, and the other one is MSSU biology pond.
While many show nature up close or exquisite architecture, Brad's photos can offer viewers a different perspective, taken by Brad using a camera on a drone.
Last year I got my Part 107 license, so I can do commercial aerial photography and videography.
Like many photographers, Brad is finding that a key to capturing a beautiful image is experimentation.
I've always had a passion for art. I've been an artist for 20 years or so, doing paintings, 3D animation, graphic effects, and I've started transitioning into photography over the last few years, and I've ranged the gamut from a whole ball of wax of photography sort of thing. I haven't been doing it long enough to do any specialization, so I'm just kind of dabbling in this and that.
Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are bringing into focus a new display at the Joplin Public Library. It's called the Joplin Sampler. And joining our conversation is photographer with work on display, Steve Holmes. There you go, always in action. Thanks for being here, Steve. You don't have to be doing any shooting right now. I'd like to ask you how you discovered your love of photography. I mean, how old were you when you first picked up a camera?
I was probably about 18. I mean, I think I've been doing it so long, I think maybe I had a camera in the womb, but I'm told that was not possible. I love trains. I grew up across from the Frisco Railroad by Jungs Field, and they just fascinated me. So when I was 18 in 1975, I started taking pictures of them with a Polaroid. Then graduated to an SLR camera, more professional style. Broadened what I was doing. I like to photograph architecture and occasionally people and sports a lot, because that's a special challenge doing it that way. Every type of photography has its own special challenge.
Yeah, well, I want to talk more in depth about that in a moment. I took a photography class in college, and there's so much to know, even just about cameras. So did you take any classes, or are you pretty much self-taught when it comes to using your cameras?
I'm pretty much self-taught, so I don't think I'm that smart about it. I think, Hulk, take picture now, and that's kind of the way that I feel, trial and error.
And I think that's with a lot of things that are a craft. It's how you practice. So tell us about your camera, or do you have a preferred camera, a preferred kind of, do you use multiple lenses when you're working?
I try to have a rotation of 3.
Okay.
There's the DSLR, Canon 5D Mark III interchangeable lenses, excellent camera. And when that's on the shelf, as it is now, I have the bridge camera, which has a remarkable zoom factor on it.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
So that's a Sony.
That's a Sony.
And when you say bridge camera, what does that mean?
It means it's got some of the quality of a DSLR, but it's still basically categorized as a point and shoot. It's just this one lens. Mm-hmm. It gets remarkable quality. So that's my walking around camera. And I have the Mighty Mite, which looks like a pocket camera, but shoots a special format that is really made for low light. It's the RAW format. The tougher the shooting conditions, the more it calls for RAW. Most people don't even know it exists, but I won't shoot anything else. If you're in a dimly lit ballroom, most cameras will say, can't do that. You know, a RAW camera says, hold my iced tea, I'm going in there. And so it is wonderful for getting close-ups in low light. Also, more and more venues, concert venues, sports venues are saying no cameras with interchangeable lenses.
That's true.
And so I try to go with this one, but to untrained security personnel, it still looks like a DSLR, which is banned. Mm-hmm. That's why the Mighty Mite works, because I can get in there with that, and they say, oh, it's a pocket camera, no big deal. But it takes excellent pictures.
That's great. So let's talk a little about what you photograph. You sort of hinted to it. What is your favorite subject matter?
The last photo I took, I suppose. I'm big into sports. Mm-hmm. It has special challenges that it's tough to talk to wildlife and portrait photographers about it because it's an entirely different thing. They have the time to, in the case of a landscape photographer, to just kind of sit there for hours and wait for the lighting to be right. And the portrait photographer can go in and just change a little bit, get a person to look maybe slightly different, just smile just a little for me. And it's not really a hurried thing.
Right.
Sports photographers and news photographers, we have no idea what we're going to be shooting 1 second from now. Yeah. So it's all about anticipation. It's all about reflexes. Sports, you get the bodies that are twisted in ways that you would not see otherwise. They have the expressions on their faces as they're going through being so intense. Mm-hmm.
Does it matter, like you talk shutter speed? I mean, action photos, you don't want to get a blur, so what are some of the techniques you have to use when you're shooting sports? Because you want to catch them in midair.
Yeah.
Are you taking dozens of photos at once?
Yeah, yeah. And someone was telling me the other day he shot about 1,500 photos at a game.
Wow.
And that's what I would suggest for anyone, is just keep the camera moving, just keep shooting. You never know when you'll get that great shot.
Yeah.
A shot that maybe no one can ever get again just because of the elements that are lined up just right.
What's the key, though, so that it's not blurry or that it's, you know,
Settings, oh yeah. I try to go with the lowest ISO I can. I don't even remember what ISO stands for, but it is a measure of sensitivity the sensor has to light. And they had ISOs on film cameras too. So the higher the ISO, the more light you're letting in. But past a certain point, you're also letting in a lot of noise, little speckles there. So on this, I go up to ISO 1600, maybe ISO 2000. Some people will want to go on speed, ISO 1,000th of a second or more. I don't mind a little blur in the hands because it draws more attention to the face. I'm more interested in the face. So I go 1/500th, 1/620th, and that seems to work well for me.
So tell us where you go to shoot sports photos, or will we see you at local games?
You'll see me on the sideline trying not to get killed by the players as you run out of bounds. That's happened the past couple of weeks, so I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't be so macho and hold my pose until the very end. It could be my very end. Yeah, sidelines at high school, some college football games, getting into hockey season in Springfield and Springdale and Tulsa, so along the glass, right as close as possible so that they're slamming into me mere inches from me. I mean, they're slamming into the glass that protects me. And still some baseball season to go. Hope the camera doesn't get hit by a ball this year. Basketball, wrestling.
Wow.
I was in Mexico a few years ago and started to be a regular at the matches, and they thought they could have some fun with me, so they put me in a match. And I got all sorts of neat shots down.
Close to the action. Yeah.
Part of the action, yeah.
So have you been published? Tell us, you talked about maybe creating a book of your works at some point. Talk about that. What do you want to do with these photos?
Well, 2 of them were in Sports Illustrated. They weren't that great. I mean, a decent newspaper photographer could have taken them, but they were of history. A team came from 16 runs down to win a game, and it got national attention, and so Sports Illustrated wanted to do a story about it, but didn't have anything from the game itself. So they're so-so photos, but that's a lesson to people, I think, that photos that you might not think have value.
Being in the right place at the right time.
Amen, yeah.
Yeah.
Luck is prayer. What is it? Luck is where preparation meets opportunity, and that's very true in photography.
So have you ever published a book of photos, or that's a dream?
It's a dream that's on the back burner. I got too much else going on to think about it, but I mean, I still take the photos. It's a challenge to me. It helps mental health.
Okay. Why is that?
Every day when I get up, it's possible I will take one of the best pictures I have ever taken, maybe one of the best pictures anyone has ever taken. Most days aren't like that, but some days are. And there are a few things I enjoy more than just having gotten something really good and showing it to the world.
Yeah. So let's talk, do you prefer color or black and white, or do you work with both?
I prefer color, but I'm learning black and white better. Now, in this camera, you have the opportunity to shoot as black and white.
Oh.
Or you can take it into the photo editing software and you can turn it into black and white there with a lot of different settings, a lot of different black and white types I did not know existed.
Yeah. I mean,
It depends on the subject.
yeah. It's a different look when you see black and white. It evokes maybe a different kind of thought. So what are some of your favorite pieces in the exhibit, and how many did you submit?
I have 2 in there. One was the Red Wing shoe store clock that stopped on May 22nd, 2011 at 5:42. They found it in the rubble and they put it on display. And I should have created a better title. I just called it A Very Bad Moment, but people won't know what that means. So it's about May 22nd, folks.
You're a member of the 4-State Photography Enthusiasts. What do you enjoy about being part of that, and how big is this group?
We have about 2,500 people, but as with just about any group, only 10 or so show up regularly. At the show, I heard a couple of photographers say, I don't know him. He's never been to a meeting. And maybe this will encourage people. I met people that I hope will come to the meetings.
So it seems like a very personal art. Are there things you share amongst each other in the photography community, maybe lessons learned? You know, what is it like to work together?
I put photos up for when I'm proud of something. I put up photos when I want opinions. Does it look better with this tint to it or with this tint to it? You know, white balancing. When I'm not sure how to crop it, what part, what's, you know, do I want to run it full? Do I want to just isolate on this? In sports, that happens a lot because the center fielder is pretty far away from the camera. So, you know, if you just run the whole photo, you're thinking, who's that guy out there, that little guy? So, yeah, and people ask questions about where can I get equipment, or I have used equipment, I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
Anybody want this? So it's just it's a bulletin board.
Yeah. Well, so this is an opinion question. I know there are effects that can be done when developing images with infrared photography. I have an old high school friend, Dan Wampler, who calls himself a digital artist. So where do you sit on manipulating photos and like lighting as an art form? I mean, some of it can be in the developing process, some of it can be in effects. I mean, do you develop old school, digitally?
Well, I only shoot digital. Film is long past in my history. I play by the photojournalism rules. You can lighten a picture, you can adjust the color to what you think it really was. You can crop it, which means, again, taking a lot of it out and just focusing on something. I am not allowed to add an object to the picture or to take away an object. Then it becomes what's called a photo illustration. It is not strictly photojournalism anymore. And contests allow for that. They have a photojournalism category, and they have everything else.
Like effects, yes.
Yeah. I worry where we're going with this, with AI and the ability to manipulate photos and people not know about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been such a big deal maybe 20 or 30 years ago, but in this political climate, people are going to question everything. And people do have the ability to alter photos to make it look like
Somebody wasn't there.
somebody who wasn't there is there.
Well,
Yeah.
we do look forward to seeing your work, and thank you for being here to tell us all about it.
Okay, and everyone out there just pause, say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, well, that wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. We hope you check out the Joplin Sampler exhibit, which runs through October 23rd. I'm Lisa Oligas. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for watching.